So this is your Trimester 1 power set. This is about working hard for short blocks of time. My idea is that you can do the whole class with us, or if you've just got time for those short little power sets, you can squeeze them in your day. So you're going to need a mini loop, so you are working quite hard. And you can also use a TheraBand tied around your legs. So that's going to go around your legs. And when you've got it in position, you're going to start lying on your back. Your feet and your knees are going to be in parallel. That means hip width apart. Your arms are going to come down by your side. Come into our first shoulder bridge. So you're going to tuck under your tailbone, so your pubic bone is pointing up at the sky. You're going to lift your butt cheeks off the floor, lift your bum up off the floor, the mid-back, right up onto your shoulders. And then come back down, roll through your breastbone, pushing your ribs down onto the mat, and then your lower back, then your bum, tip forwards. Go again, tuck your tailbone underneath you, roll up away from the floor, curling, 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 right the way up onto your shoulders. The band is just there to keep you in parallel, so you don't forget and bring your legs back together. You're just pressing out just enough to fire up your butt. The tighter your band, the harder that's going to be. And if it's tough enough for you without the band, take it off, totally fine. So this is called an articulated bridge. You roll one vertebra at a time as though your back is made of a beaded necklace and you're lifting one bead up at a time. Last one in parallel. Just keep breathing through. And then when you touch back down, your feet are going to come together, your knees are going to go as wide as you can. So the soles of your feet are almost together. Use the outside borders of your feet now to press up, no articulation, just press up. Open up the fronts of your hips and then come back down. Use your out breath to push up, in breath, come back down. So you take it into another muscle now, a bit wider into your hips. There's less of that curl, so it's more into your lower back, less belly. When you're at the top, you want a straight line through your body so that your pubic bone, the front of your pelvis, is higher than your ribs. Don't go so far so that you arch your back and come into a banana. Keep that frame. You're going to stay up on the next one for me and you're going to close your legs. Open back out into that band. Close your legs and open. Stay here for 30 seconds in this little pulse. Nice work. Squeeze your butt at the top, particularly when you pull into the band. Try and get your knees to touch. So you take it through full range, all the way in, all the way out. Breathe in to close legs, breathe out, open. Last 15 seconds. Has the bum dropped down? Have we gone into a banana back? That's good, Romy. 3. Give me 2 more. And 1. Okay, now the hardest one for me is to come into dead squeezed. So no light passing between your legs. Adduction all the way. Drop your bum. Lift up your bum. Drop your bottom. Lift it up. So when you're lifting this time, I want you to think about pushing your knees forwards over your toes. Fold through the middle and then push your knees forwards over your toes. Still the highest part of your body becomes your pubic bone, not your ribs. Don't overarch your back. And if, like me, your knees are tempted to open, keep reminding yourself to bring them back together. Yeah, 15 seconds more. Squeeze your legs together. Let's get 2 more in here. Hold it up. The last to finish this power set, left knee only, roll it open. Squeeze it in. Right knee only, roll it open. Squeeze it in. And again, left, in, right, in. Keep the bum up. It likes to get nice and lazy. Take your arms up if you want more of a challenge. And just make sure that you're not pushing yourself up the mat. Try and almost pull your bottom down towards your heels. Breathe into the twist, out to close. You are nearly there. I reckon we have got time for 1 more on each side. Push into the band, breathe out. Breathe in, center. Push into the band, breathe out. Breathe in, center. Pause, roll through your spine. Just like we did at the beginning, allowing your back to change shape, pushing all the way down by your side. So you can leave your band on. We're not going to use it for this one, but to save taking it off and put it back on again. Just leave it where it is. Place the ball between your feet and bring your legs down straight. All right, so your legs are straight, toes are going to be pointed. Squeeze the ball between your legs. So you have got on that super long trench coat. As you squeeze the ball, you're zipping your legs together. Bring that up through the pelvic floor. Zip from your tailbone underneath you through to the front pubic bone. Then zip up into the belly button. Can you hold that there? Breathe out, arms over your head. Breathe in, arms down by your side. Unzip, let it go. Try again. Ball squeeze, zipper up, arms up, breathe in, come back down. So once you've got the action, you can feel a little bit of something going on in the pelvic floor and the lower belly. I want you to think about your back posture. Make sure your ribs don't lift up off the floor. Perfect, Romy. Keep the ribs down, keep pelvis in neutral. Very often there's a tendency to tuck the tailbone to overcompensate. That's not a neutral spine. You want to bring your pelvis forwards. The lower belly should be looking pretty flat right now. We have 2 more. Breathe out, squeeze the ball. Breathe in, hands down. 1 more. Breathe in, hands down. Walk your legs up. The ball now is going to go between your knees. We're going to do it here. Ball squeeze, pelvis neutral, arms up and over your head. Arms come down by your side. Breathe out, arms go up and over. Breathe in, arms come down. The most important bit is that ball squeeze, the tummy zipper. If you can, as you bring your arms down by your side, I'd love you to give me a little abdo prep. Arms, head and shoulders curl up. Breathe in, head and shoulders come down, arms over your head. And again, breathe out, squeeze the ball, curling up. And then strong tummy zipper, pelvic floor, arms over. So our bias is on not only the foundation, but the 6-pack over the top, layering it up. You've got time for 3 more. The lower back stays in neutral. Make sure the pubic bone doesn't start coming up, but instead tip that away from you. Last one. Arms come down by your side. Okay, next one, you're gonna walk your feet close towards you. From here, one leg is gonna lift up. You're gonna keep that ball squeezed, imprint your spine, roll your pelvis back, your back presses into the mat the first time of today. Bring the other leg up, squeeze the ball. You're gonna keep that ball squeezed, the back is gonna stay on the ground, and now try and give me that elevator door, pelvic floor. Close the doors on the pelvic floor, lift the elevator, breathe out, take your arms over your head. Breathe in, lower the elevator down, open the doors. Again, ball squeeze, elevator comes up, lower the elevator down, open the doors. Use your breath. Yes, it's challenging, but keep coming back to the foundations of that house, making them as strong and steady as you can. Reset whenever you need to. Remember, you can always balance your feet on top of your couch. You can put all the weight of your feet on that couch or just a little bit of weight, just to take some away. If you ever feel this in your lower back, you need to bring it back down a level. You can ease your knees in towards you to stop that from happening, or bring your feet back down onto the floor. Can you do 2 more? 1 more. Hold it here. Bend your elbows, take your hands out to the side, fingertips pointing up at the sky. They're just gonna help you a little bit. To finish off this sequence, we're gonna take this into hip twist 5. Ball squeeze, your legs are gonna twist all the way over to one way. Squeeze the ball, bring them all the way back into the middle, take them the opposite way. So the ball is there to make sure that you keep your pelvis aligned, and the twist comes from higher above there. Your elbows are there to hold your balance. Notice how much you're using them. And I want to just make sure that the lower back does open, that you don't overarch your back, keeping the ribs in. If this feels too much, you can always drop your feet down and come into level 2 with me. It's exactly the same motion. Ball, squeeze, back into middle. Go the opposite way. Ball squeeze back in through the middle. Last one each way. Think about wringing out your abs like a dishcloth. You're really working across the middle. And then relax it down. The ball is going to come away. Your legs are going to go out straight. Your arms are over your head. Give me a whole body stretch like I'm pulling your wrists and your ankles in opposite directions. Next power set, back to glutes. Okay, so we're going to lie on your side now. So it's up to you if you want to use a block or your arm for this. We're going to be here for a little while. Your hips and knees are bent to 90 degrees. So your knees are directly in front of your hips and your shins are along the front of your mat. Use your top hands to make sure your waist is up off the ground. As baby grows, you might want to just support baby on a pillow so you keep your waist lifted. Now the first thing we're going to do is climb from here. Heel squeeze, roll the top knee open. Breathe in, close. It's like you're screwing your thigh into the socket. Nothing else moves. Feet stay together. Roll open. It's worth checking that you don't roll your pelvis back, either with your arm, by looking that your pelvis doesn't roll back, or by lying against a wall or the edge of your sofa and just making sure you don't push back into there. Breathe out and open. Breathe in and close. And again. You have time for one more. And then our first change. That leg is going to lift off the bottom leg. Just practice that for me. Lift it, lower it. Lift it, lower it. Just making sure again that your pelvis doesn't roll back. You are just moving from the hip crease. Opening up the leg, lower it down. Definitely feeling both glutes working because you've got that band, right? So the bottom one is holding it down on the ground too. Ready? The leg is going to lift. Now you're going to take that leg back behind you, open in the front of the hip, pushing into the band. Fold that leg forwards. You're just moving from the hip, nothing else. Keep your body really, really still. Try taking your top arm up towards the sky. Make sure you're not rocking and rolling on the bottom hip. Press that knee down into the ground. 10 more seconds. Again, your out breath to kick. In breath to fold, pause here. Now, quick transition because we're going to use a different muscle group, although it's still burning the bum. Slightly different. Just drop your legs down. There's about a 30-degree bend in your hips. Make sure your waist is lifted, your feet in line with your butt, and then we go again. Second set. So it changes it a little bit. There's several muscle groups in your bottom. It will give you stability on one leg. Breathe out, open. Breathe in, close. So as pregnancy progresses, pelvic stability can become a real issue. The pelvis has to stretch open to gap and give space for baby and prepare for birth. That can become uncomfortable. So we're just making sure the muscles stay strong to give you that pelvic stability while still allowing your body to stretch and baby to grow. Pelvis stays completely stacked, twist from the hip. Ready? Your first change. Open book. That leg is just going to lift off the bottom leg, bring it back down. You want to be feeling this in the back pocket of your jeans, right? If it's too much around the front, just turn your knee open and lift from there. See if you can make that come around the back a little bit more. I'm definitely feeling it enough. And every time I lift my leg, I'm checking I don't drop my waist, keeping my waist up off the ground. And next we move into side kick. So your waist stays up, your leg is lifted, keep still, the leg is going to come towards you. Keep your body still, that leg goes back behind you, open, expose the front of the hip. Fold forwards, kick back. Just moving from that top hip. Try and keep the rest of your body perfectly still. Maybe take the top hand up and open, just to make sure. I reckon we've got time for one more. Bring it all the way down. Now from here, I'm going to get you to take that bottom arm out from underneath you. You're just going to twist into an open stretch with your bottom arm all the way out. Maybe squeeze your knees up and in towards you so your glute gets a lovely juicy stretch. And just hold it here and take a few breaths. We go straight into the other side. So both sides are working all the way through. I think we don't want to give them too much of a break. Now this is power sets. This is layering it up, building our endurance. Turn and look out at that backhand. One more breath in. And then use your hands to help you change sides. So you're going to come up through sitting. See if you can practice keeping your legs together and then take it over the other side. So keeping your legs together keeps the movement through your pelvis symmetrical, and that's what we're going for. Lying on your side with your bottom arm outstretched, or you can put a cushion in there. Your legs are going to come up in front of you, hips and knees bent to 90. Your hand is going to go underneath your waist to keep your waist lifted up off the ground. You want to make sure your hand, your shoulder, your butt are all in one straight line, and then we come through your plans. Heels squeezing together, breathing out, rolling your top knee open. I know my ribs always want to flare, so I'm just bringing them in. I'm making sure my rib cage stays over my pelvis. How about you, Romy? You too? So you roll open, heels squeezing, breathing out, breathing in to close. That bottom leg is starting to really feel this work now. Keeping that tail out, waist lifted, breathe out with every effort, full lift. Ready, last one. First change this side, open book, lift that leg, lower the leg, lift, lower. Making sure the top butt doesn't roll back. Sit you like you're opening, here's the spine of the book, and you're opening the book, close the book. Out breath open, in breath close. Distract yourself from the burn, just think about your breathing. Ready? One more, lift up, side kick, press it back. Open from the hip, try and expose that front of the hip much more and push back from the glute, bring the leg back in. Breathe out, push back, breathe in, fold in. Keeping the shoulders over the pelvis. Pressing that bottom leg down into the ground so you don't rock and roll too much. Two more. One more. Release, bring that all the way down. Hand to the floor to help you open up the hips a little way. So about 30-degree bend, now your feet are in line with your bum and your shoulders. And you go straight away, give me those clams. You're twisting your hip into the socket. Definitely then I wanted to roll backwards, and that's working a different muscle. Make sure your pelvis stays stacked. Your two pelvis bones are like plates on top of one another, and you're just moving from your hip crease, where the crease in your leggings is. That's where you twist from. Make sure the ribs right over the top of your pelvis. Your waist is lifted. Squeeze the heels together. Breathe out, open, breathe in, close. You know the drill now. Nearly there for open book. Home stretch. Ready? Leg comes off, leg comes down. 30 seconds. Breathe out, lift. Breath in, lower. Check every now and again your waist stays lifted. You're not tense through your shoulders, and maybe even taking your hands up high. No flopping and rolling, shaking around through the top side of your body. Keep it still. And lead this with the knee. Knee always just slightly higher than the foot. Here we go, one more. Take that into side kick to finish off this little sequence. You are so nearly there. Take the leg back, bring it as far in towards you as you can go. Take the leg back, bringing the ribs in, kick back, bring it in. Moving from the hip, pressing the bottom leg down into the ground. That also stops the band from sliding up too much. Remember, you can take the band off if you need to. Totally fine. You can tie the band tighter if you want to. That's also totally fine. Here we go, last one I reckon, all the way back, all the way up. Finish that movement, stack your legs on top of one another, open up your arms and spiral up towards the sky. Maybe even bringing your knees up towards you. And just enjoy that little juicy glute stretch. Turn and look over the back arm and your arms are outstretched, chest pointing up towards the ceiling. Roll your head away, look out across that back arm. Hold it here, one more breath. And release. Use your hands to help you push up into long sit. So we are all done with the band, you'll be pleased to know. So you can slide that down, pop that off to the one side, and then just sit, long sitting for me for a moment. Open up your legs just wider than your hips. And I want you just to slide your hands down one side, bow your head down, just take any tension out through the back side of your body before you roll your hands back up, straight spine, roll your hands down the other leg. All the way back up. Cross your left foot across your body. And then you're going to go back down the right leg, fold forwards, run your hands back up that right leg, switch it over. Take a few more stretches if you need. I'm going to keep pushing you through these working sections. If you need to take a bit more of a break, then go for it. Otherwise, we're straight in. Next set, abs. Ball is needed this time underneath your bottom. So when you're lying on your back, lift your butt up and place your bottom on the ball. Hold it here. Now this is going to act like a wobble cushion. If you feel really wobbly, you probably don't need it, just use the mat. And it's again going to work on that automatic corset, those internal stabilizers. Make little spiders with your fingers and place them on the floor down by your side. Breathe in, float one leg up into tabletop. Breathe out, roll that leg back down to the ground. Breathe in, opposite side. Breathe out, roll down. So what I want you to do here is just see what's automatic through the tummy. Does the tummy come on? Does the pelvic floor work? And if you're not sure, give it an extra lift. Tighten the corset, lift the elevator with every out breath. You are just moving from the hip. First progression, opposite arm and opposite leg. As the right leg comes up, the left arm comes over your head. Place it all the way back down, change sides. Remember, this one is all about stillness. Yes, you're working, but less about that burn, more about the stability challenge. Imagine you're lying on a pressure mattress. It's going to pick up any changes in pressure. If you rock and put all the weight down through one shoulder, the numbers on that dial are going to change. You try and keep the numbers the same. Don't rock and don't roll. You ready? Both arms, one leg, lift up. Arms down, leg down. Other side. Arms up, leg up. Arms down, leg down. You're going to breathe out to lift. Breathe in, lower. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. Here we go, one more each side like that. And I'm going to keep giving you the challenge. So remember, if the challenge goes up, you just stay where it works for you. If you lose your form, you wobble too much, you think this is hard enough, thanks, stay exactly where you are. Bring the right leg up, hands up, point at the sky. Lift your left heel and just tiptoe walk that left leg into tabletop to join the right. Now that might be enough for you. You might need to bring your hands down and rest them down on the ground to hold your balance. Otherwise, with me, your arms are going to come up and over your head. You're going to breathe in, you're going to circle them all the way down, back up to the start. Breathe out, arms over your head. Breathe in, circle them all the way around, back down to the start. So I know my back wants to follow my arms. I'm working hard not to let that happen. And see, as soon as I did that, I lost my balance. So you get much more wobbly when you move out of neutral. In neutral, I feel secure. ish. Breathe out and lift. Breathe in, come around. And if that's feeling good for you, I'd love you to give me a leg extension. One leg away, both arms over. Circle around, leg comes back in. Breathe out, arms up, leg extend. Breathe in, circle it around. You're in your last minute. So it's about layering up, working that same group of muscles for continuous period of time. Teach them where to be, how to give you that stability. And if you're wobbling, that's totally fine. That is your body trying to correct things, right? It's trying to create that much stability for you. If you're falling off, it might be a step too far, and bring your arms back down on the ground. I think we've got time for one more each side. Bring it all the way in. Step your feet down onto the floor. Lift your bum up, put your bottom down, take the ball away. And you're just gonna squeeze your legs together, bring your arms out to the side, roll your knees over to the right, and as you turn and look to the left, little corkscrew through your spine. We've just been working on keeping it really still. You're just gonna see if you can give it a little bit more movement. Roll through your spine. Squeeze your legs together, roll back through. One vertebra at a time comes back down onto the mat until your bottom touches. Roll it the opposite way. Turn your head so you're looking in opposite direction to your knees. And then as you roll back through your ribs first, lower back next, bottom next, back onto your feet. Let's do one more of those each side to give you a nice corkscrew twist. All the way over to the one side. All the way back through. And again, last one, all the way over. All the way back through. And now you're into your last power set. So your last power set, you're gonna roll onto your front. So take your time to change position. And you're gonna bring your arms out underneath your forehead. So cross your hands on top of one another. Bring your forehead down onto your forearms. We're gonna go through swimming legs first of all. So you're gonna have a nice straight spine, tuck your tailbone down towards your feet, and then you're gonna squeeze one leg up. You're gonna float your right leg up away from the ground, and then you're gonna lower it back down. Left leg float, left leg lower. Alternate sides. So we are gonna work on that little bit of hip extension, tipping the pelvis ever so slightly forwards. But what you wanna do is just keep your pelvis level. So as I lift my left leg up, my left hip wants to roll into the floor. I'm gonna keep it level. And same on the right side, don't let my right hip drop down into the floor. Alternate sides. Out breath lift. In breath lower. Out breath lift. In breath lower. All right, now if you can, every time you lift one leg, we're going to float the upper body up off the floor. Keep the belly drawing up and in towards the spine so that you don't crunch into the lower back. Float your arms, your head, your hands, your leg, all off in one go. Float back down. And other side. We've got to work hard to keep our shoulders down away from our ears. Breathe out, come up. Breathe in, come down. Breathe out, float. Breathe in, come down. So just lift just as far as you need to feel this working through your lower back. And just imagine my hand is underneath your belly, between you and the mat. And try not to crush my hand. And try and keep a little pressure lifted up away from my hand. Moving belly button slightly in towards your spine. We have one more each side. Last one here. Release. Take your hands away, bring them either side of your head and prop up onto your forearms. So now from here we're going to come up into our curling knee plank. So you're going to tuck onto your chin, you're going to curl and lift all the way up into a flat back position. So you want your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. You want to have a nice flat back, long from the crown of your head down to your tail. And then you're going to roll through your hips, roll through your belly, arch your back, look forwards. So we're going to come in and out, lift your chest, chin to your chest, lift your ribs, lift your hips, nice flat back. So remember for this one, we don't want the tail out too far. We don't want to shift the weight back too much. We want a flat back position. Hips roll down, pelvis down, chest forwards. And again, chin to your chest, breastbone lift, ribs lift, hips lift. And release, come all the way down. And your final challenge for this sequence, you're going to bring your chin to your chest, your breastbone up, your ribs up, your hips up. You're going to hold it here. So it might just be a hold. You're working on your position. Maybe check it sideways in a mirror. Or if you want to, you're going to tuck the toes on one leg. You're going to lift the knee. Fold it back down. Release, change, lift. You're going to alternate sides. Lifting one knee, keeping it scooped through the belly. Trying not to rock from side to side. You just have 10 more seconds. Tuck your chin, look straight down. Keeping the back flat. And you're here for 5, 3, 2, 1, and release. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders and sink your bottom down onto your heels for a little child's pose. If you worked hard, just try and take all the tension out of the hands and through the arms. Walk your hands back out, straight in front. If you reach through your fingertips, come back onto your forearm, but bring your forehead down in between your elbows. Release your tail, stretch your seat. Take your hips over to the right. Squeeze through the lower belly. Take the hips over to the left. And then from here, you're going to sink back down onto your bottom. Turn into, swing your legs around in front of you and turn into long sitting. I want you to imagine with your feet just off the edges of your mat, that in between your legs you've got a big cup of hot chocolate, and you are going to stir that hot chocolate, trying to get everything from the edges of the cup, coming all the way around. So just get some mobility through your lower back, stretch through your hamstrings, all the way around, inside thigh. And then for the last time, take it around the other way. 3 big stirs, the opposite direction. Try and roll onto the front of your pelvis, lift your tail out behind you. And you just have one more to finish before you make your way back up into the sitting. Good work, guys. That's your power sets for the first trimester.